So Weird is an American-Canadian television show that ran on Disney Channel from 1999 to 2001, following a teenage girl who investigated paranormal mysteries while touring the country with her musician mother. No, honey, being a teenager on a tour bus sounds bad enough without having ghouls and goblins and leprechauns snatching up your tampons every night. That's no way to live. But our main character, Fee, is a relentless investigator. She loves harassing ghosts, but then will act all surprised when they snap back. Pick your jaw up off the floor. You are dabbling in the dark arts, honey. You're scared of some ghost shoving? There is a vampire around the corner ready to snatch those bangs off your forehead. Why are you laughing? Let's join Fee, Jack, and Clue for the first ever episode of So Weird, so that we can re-experience the supernatural themes, softcore horror editing, and impossibly spacious tour bus that captured my imagination as a child. Stay tuned for another Halloween installment of Clip Breakdown, baby. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies and TV shows and other media, and we stomp on it until it's in bits and pieces, and then we look at those little bit of pieces with like a bitchy attitude. It's cool, you'll like it. And So Weird is up on the chopping block today, one of my favorite childhood shows. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel or if you've been watching for a minute, don't forget to click that subscribe button right down here. That way you always get new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so it's probably smart to click that notification bell. That way you'll be the first to know every time I conjure a new potion for you to view. That's part of the Halloween theme. I've adjusted my language to make it sound like it's scary. It's working. Oh, also you'll notice I have merch such as this sweatshirt with my aloe plant. As I said, this was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. It came out when I was 8 and ran through the time that I was about 10 years old, and I loved everything about it. I loved this strong female character in Fee, played by Cara Delizia. I loved that she had her own laptop and her own website. It inspired me in more ways than one. We'll talk about it. But even the theme song was memorable. This show had a lot of original music, many of the songs played by Mackenzie Phillips herself. Mackenzie plays the mother on this TV show, but her breakout role was definitely in One Day at a Time, a 70s sitcom show. She very publicly battled with addiction and made a comeback return to acting, and I feel like you can even hear that sort of story in the theme song itself.
Demons come from every side. In the darkness is love. In the darkness is the light.
I was watching at home being like, I really relate to this song because of my struggle learning how to use the multiplication table. I have never forgotten this theme song, not for all of these years. In the darkness is the light, surrender to fire and ice. Okay, I don't know the words, but that's what it sounds like. I also love the backup vocalists who come in with that, like, okay, Gregorian chanters coming through, make way. I'm pretty sure every episode of this show starts with our main character, Fee, giving us some voiceover and some historical context to what we're gonna learn at our new location for the episode. Although this show was shot all in Vancouver, Canada, every episode took place in a different part of the US where they were visiting on tour. Kind of a bold move. I mean, I guess they pulled it off. They made one place in Canada look like all 50 states, so kudos. Episode 1 is in Chicago.
Before the Eastland could even leave the dock, it capsized in the murky water of the Chicago River. 844 people lost their lives. Men, women, children, whole families.
Hi, I'm the whole family that drowned in the Chicago River, and you're watching Disney Channel. I don't think that they would make a show like this on Disney Channel today. Like, So Weird really went right to the jugular when talking about death and ghosts and the afterlife. They were not being vague about it. Homegirl really just said, picture everyone you know clawing to escape a sinking ship like filthy wet rats. This is your pilot episode? Come through. No wonder this turned a whole bunch of kids on to horror movies. This was like X-Files Junior. I guess that little voiceover is really Fee on her laptop researching, because we're about to meet her doing her favorite thing, having computer time. You know, that website is right. Life is so weird. Like, what if the letter O looked like an eyeball? Well, log on to my website and buckle up. I love a self-titled webpage. If I'm on your website, you don't need the title to say that it's a website. I get it. At that point, I know where I am. I know what the medium is. Unfortunately, Fee doesn't get to just explore her creepy, strange interests without being bothered. She does have an older brother named Jack, who's always harshing her vibe.
Hey, check it out. Cybergirl's looking for little green Martians again.
Laugh, metalhead. Someone who contacted my website got an actual UFO sighting on home video.
I'm sorry, Fiona, I couldn't hear you over the gay pride flag you have in your bedroom. We stand a queer icon who believes in ghosts. That's checking off all the boxes for me. Also, I love how early Disney shows really showed teenagers or young kids in an authentic way. Let's look at Fiona here. She doesn't have this impossibly curled hair like Girl Meets World. She's got low-key hair, very natural makeup, and she's dressed like a mom that's about to paint the living room. One thing that always impressed me about this show growing up was the fictional way that they showed technology. It really is evident that this was created back at the beginning of the computer age. 1999, we were all very much obsessed with the millennium, and every TV show on Earth was like, I'll email you so that you can download the file. And then they would get on their computer and be like, I just programmed the spreadsheet and sent the electronic invite to your address book. It's like, we get it! This exists now. It's the new phone. Fiona is about to check her email on her website. I was always so jealous of her that she had her own website where strangers would post things and would answer her questions. But it's also kind of vague. Sometimes it seems like she's searching for information on her own website. It's like, wouldn't you know what you already wrote about? So it's not really clear if it's literally her website or just a message board that she has a page on. None of that's ever really super evident because they were kind of vague about it. Also, it would appear that Fiona invented wireless internet about 6 years early, so that was impressive. Here's the message that Fiona got on her website.
Take me to your leader.
Jack, you jerk!
These kids are all just casually Flash animators now. What the hell? How were they? There was no way a kid could just whip up such an animation in 1999. They didn't have Jibber Jabber or whatever that stupid website is where my mom sends us a Christmas card where we're all dressed like elves. Mom, all of this love could be given to me as money. But no lie, I think this show, in part, really got me excited about the web, if you will. And I wanted my own website so badly. And I did eventually make mine. I think I was 12 when I finally launched EinsteinLied.com, which was my fun website at the time, which dealt with zany things, and also I published book reviews. I would sell my little goods on there. I was really trying to be an internet mogul. Kylie Jenner wishes. And I owe that all to Fee. I think she taught me to be a webmaster. I wanted to learn HTML thanks to her. Skills that I still use to this day.
I told him you'd be mad.
Clue, you helped him?
Hold the phone. This was all on a bus. These kids in the top story of their 3-bedroom home, all of a sudden were inside of a bus. Look at that tour bus from the outside. I don't know where they're doing this scene right now. Is there a magical second story to this bus? Have you seen inside a tour bus? It's literally bunk beds and a kitchen and a closet for a bathroom. It's terrible. I don't think I ever realized as a child that the spatial reasoning made no sense. This was totally House of Leaves. Also, you'll notice Clue, the friend there, who is the son of the tour manager in this show, played by Eric Von Detten, who was the star of Brink, and then Jack, that actor, played the best friend in Brink. So both of these characters were in another movie that came out around the same time where they also played best friends. And I'm just wondering if Disney Channel had access to maybe 5 kids in their sweatshop because they were unable to diversify their casting outside of these several moppy-haired white kids. Every time Mackenzie Phillips comes into the scene in the show, it's to give some dump of exposition. She cannot open her mouth without telling you her whole life story.
Fee, you may not kill your brother. Clue, if you see your folks up front, ask them what time the band's getting into Chicago.
Where's the band playing, Mrs. P?
This great old club down by the river.
I'm sorry, is your voice box somehow connected to the motor of this bus? Because you are talking a mile a minute right now. The director said, we need to spoon feed our 10-year-old audience all of the info they need so that they can understand this first episode. Do you mind motormouth Maybelling your way through this for us, Mackenzie? Thanks, doll. Life on a tour bus with a band sure seems unique. These kids have out of the ordinary chores such as cleaning bugs off the windshield, a task that they fight over a lot.
Good. Wow, isn't this attractive? Good luck.
Freak.
Okay, if you're gonna touch the dead bugs with your bare hands, you've already done the worst part of having to clean them. So I don't see why you think you're better than her right now. You kids are dumb. That leaves me with a lot of questions about this homeschooling situation. So the bus driver, he is Clue's dad, and he homeschools the kids. So in this episode, at least, he's like, you guys all have to write your history papers on Chicago, since that's where we are. Those kids are like, I think there's gonna be calculus on the SATs. He's like, sounds like a you problem, ghost boy.
I promise we'll be researching local history. In fact, fact, I believe our first stop is a local historical mall.
I forgot that mall culture was still alive in the late 90s. I remember in 1999, my dad would take me and my sisters to the mall every Friday night and it would be hoppin'. We loved to see like the true authentic goth kids who painted their faces white, boys with cargo shorts using payphones, Burger King wrappers everywhere, the smell of stress sweat and hairless armpits. It was terrible. Don't ever go to the mall again. Malls are over. I love that there's like a Mall of America where they just made the mall even bigger. It's like you just gave a mall even more reasons for me to not want to go there. You put a roller coaster in there, you just added lines inside of a mall. I would rather jump into the river. They will not stop with the exposition. Apparently this is all stuff you need to know in episode 1. They were like, this is a pilot. We don't know if we're gonna get picked up. Let's try to tell our story with the 20 minutes we have.
How do you think we're doing? I mean, we've been on the road for almost a year
The
now.
band's playing great. Don't even think about going back to writing advertising jingles. Seeing you in a business suit was totally depressing.
She said, I think I'm gonna do a really unconvincing fake laugh here. And he said, oh, I'm gonna borrow it right after you. You know, I work in advertising as well. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't need to be wearing a business suit to be writing the jingles for TV commercials. Hello, have you seen Juno, Jason Bateman's character? Also, I'm pretty sure this kid played like the sniveling older brother in 3 other movies, like Miracle and Lane 2. It's like, we get it, you look like a Justin. Oh my God, what if his real name is Justin? What is his real name? He does look like a Patrick too. Sometimes actors though, they just got those faces, you're like, don't wanna smack the skin off of it. But it's good for them, that gets them hired, right? Okay. The mother, Molly, is really just trying to make sure her kid's mental health is okay, and there's no better way to do that than badgering them about it, with confrontational questions.
We were so little when your dad died, and I've tried really.
It's fine, okay?
God, Mom, you know every time you bring up Dad, I have to punch another hole in the wall. I don't see why you keep doing this to yourself. While Fee is helping her mom with the sound check, we get our first supernatural occurrence at this particular venue.
It's not working. It's a kid. Crying.
The mom is like, okay, and is this kid crying because her dad died a few years ago?
Where's it coming from?
Cell phone, two-way radio. We get interference like that all the time.
Even when nothing's plugged in?
This was the mom just now. Already we can see that whatever supernatural force is here within the building is actually capable of making some physical stuff go on.
Fee, be careful with that.
I didn't do anything.
Well, I mean, you ripped that knob off of it, but sure. I'm really trying my best to figure out what happened here. The button was sliding down on its own, and then Fee was like, snatch! She said, I'll cause my own property damage, thank you. I'm the troubled teen here. I choose to watch So Weird, believing that there are no supernatural occurrences. It's just Fiona acting out. The club owner says, oh yeah, we got a ghost around here. Things are crazy happening all the time. What can I tell you? And that, of course, puts Fee on one. She's like, I'm gonna bother this professional gentleman until he wants me dead.
Has anyone ever reported hearing a child's voice?
Fee, say hi to Mr. Bellevaux. This is his club.
Hi. I'd like to speak with your employees, and I need access to the rest of your building. Do you know anything about the previous owner? Why don't we talk in your office?
You know, you get a very short window to be a cute, precocious child actor, and this girl is really walking that line recklessly, I would say. This girl comes up into your establishment asking for all your employees' tax information. I would be like, don't you have a tour bus somewhere with a Matchbox 20 poster you could be staring at? Get out of here. Fee puts her question online on her website to see what people can tell her about the Chicago fire. From what she can tell, all of this is because this club was built after the Chicago fire burnt down the previous building. She comes into the club a little bit later when no one else is there so that she can investigate further.
Hello?
Does this girl have the raspiest voice of any child you've ever met on your earth? Like, what? Spinelli from Recess full time. In addition to having a really cool laptop that I wished I had, Fee also had this awesome digital video camera, like the ones that they sold at Walmart with the mini DV tapes, and I was like, I want that.
Who's that?
Okay, just some early feedback. Right now I'm being physically assaulted, and it's by your soda cup. Get that out of my face. You're splish splashing that orange soda around like your name was Senorita Sunkissed. I don't need it. A lot of this episode revolves around her soda for some reason. I was like, okay, 7-Eleven called. They want their big gulp back. The initial sound that Fee hears was actually her brother calling her. So it was a fake scare.
Mom says come to dinner and no computer time for a week.
Ah! pantaloons! They wanted this kid to be dressed in 1800s periods garb, and they went to Men's Warehouse for a ring bearer's outfit. You'll also notice that they intentionally edited this jump scare so that it wasn't actually a jump scare. Probably because by softening the surprise of it, they would make it feel more like a fun, lighthearted action sequence and not like, holy crap, this is a horror movie for kids. You can tell they didn't want it to be scary because she turns around, screams, drops the soda cup, and then we see a quick flash of the little boy. Then we go back to her, then a quick flash to the boy again. So we basically have like 2 whole shots after her scared reaction to prepare ourselves for whatever she sees. That's probably why I remember liking the show and not having traumatizing memories of being afraid of it. Actual footage of me before my first Catholic confessional. I was like, there's no internet search history portion of this, right? Fiona chases the young ghost boy down the hall like they're in a bicentennial parade, but he disappears around a corner.
That is so weird.
Is it so weird, or is it the most concrete evidence of the existence of paranormal activity ever? This ghost child just left what? Some ghost water on that ghost wall? You got ghost fingers that are ghost moist now? Like, get a swab, vial some of that liquid up. I want some lab analysis done to figure out what sort of goopy, multi-dimensional water this is. All throughout, so weird. There's like really like convincing stuff that happens to Fee where they're like, a ghost came up and punched me in the tit. And everyone's like, okay, if you say so. I don't know how this girl was carrying the world's biggest digital video camera and didn't manage to record any of that ghost encounter. Like, what are you doing? Was ghost hunting something your father was planning to teach you the Father's Day after he died? What's up? Just curious. Of course, nobody in the family wants to believe Fiona, and I don't blame them. She does sound a little crazy right now.
The club was built on the spot of a place that burnt down the Chicago fire. But if the boy died in a fire, why is he wet?
Maybe he drowned after you dumped 36 ounces of soda on him.
I remember having a laugh out loud moment when I was a kid. I was like, this little bitch just invented comedy on this day. I think that joke really informed my sarcastic sense of humor that I still have to this moment.
I know where the ghost came from. You know how the Chicago fire started when that lady's cow kicked over a lantern? Fee has obviously found the ghost of Mrs. O'Leary's cow.
Okay, I guess he also taught me how to make a joke less funny. You gotta know when to cut your set short, you know? Later on, Molly is trying to console Fee, who is not having the best time fitting in because she sees ghosts and whatever.
Mom, do you believe me?
I believe that it's important to you.
So that's a no then.
I didn't say that.
But you don't believe me.
I mean, you were holding a camera in your hand when that ghost basically walked up to you and asked you for your Snapchat, so I don't know whose fault it is here. If you want people to believe you, you gotta keep that finger on the shutter, baby girl. This next speech that Molly gives, I think, is a really nice way for the show to coalesce, like, basically non-believers with believers. I feel like this rationalization that we're about to get makes this feel like watchable for a wider age group.
I'm not as sure about things as you are, Fee. But sometimes, especially when I'm playing, it's like your dad's right there with me. Maybe it's not the same as believing in ghosts, but it's something.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear really any of that precious monologue over the sound of your lips moving. Does your saliva have more lines in this piece than you, Molly? What's the deal? Can we get some lemon water for this woman? Because she clearly has dry mouth. Some xylitol gum, perhaps? Speaking of moisture, this soda keeps revealing all of the secrets of the universe to Fee.
Drowning.
You've got to lay off the soda. The artificial coloring alone in that is gonna do a whole lot of damage to your digestive system. I don't want to see a paranormal investigation when your feces is green, okay? That's not so weird. That's orange soda. But of course, by searching up drownings in Chicago, our girl Fee figures out about the Eastland capsizing, the boat that claimed the life of so many people in the Chicago River. It's embarrassing for a boat to capsize before it even gets away from the dock. I know that that's really easy criticism for me to make as a non-boat builder, but like just off the bat, I wanna survive my cruise. While she's doing her computer research, for some reason I was really distracted by the intense number of double clicking. I don't want to judge anybody's late 90s computer usage, but that feels like twice the amount of clicking than we really need to get the job done. Again, it kind of looks to me like Fiona's on her own website here, but I think she's just on like the general web. But in this show, for some reason, every website on Earth has a black background with green text. She comes across a picture of the very boy from her vision.
It's him.
I'm sorry, no. When that kid mouths help me, it sends me straight to hell. That was scary, okay? Moving pictures, pre-Harry Potter, too much. Also, who was directing her to open her mouth that wide? Is that the only way we can get across the fear of the scene? She said, I'm gonna convince the camera that I'm really afraid here by opening wide and showing them the part of my brain that feels fear. And again, we just have astonishing physical evidence of ghosts here. Like, did you see how much water was flooding out of that computer? Straight up Brookstone water feature realness. That was something you would put on your desk in a nice office. Because of this, it convinces her to tell Clue and Jack that they need to investigate because this ghost boy wants something from her. He said, help me.
Or maybe he thinks you're cute.
I don't think so.
No, I'm telling you, it's a guy thing.
Okay, so now we're applying gender stereotypes to ghosts. Also, why are we assuming this ghost's sexuality anyway? When I'm a ghost, my only sexual preference is gonna be scaring conservative whites. I'm gonna haunt every Red Robins from here to the Mississippi River. You just wait. Once they split up for some reason, it takes maybe 30 seconds for Fiona to get the paranormal encounter that most hunters have to wait their whole life to see.
Jack, knock it off!
I love that the camera operator just like really shoves her here. They said, we want this push to feel really aggressive, so we're gonna let your stepbrother hold the camera.
Jack? You guys? Oh man. Oh man.
All jokes aside, I had this same experience when I was a teenager, and that's why I started using Certain Dry. It hurts your armpits and it makes the back of your knees sweat. Also, what is this oh man? You went looking for this ghost 3 times now, and you're gonna say oh man the second he comes up and puts his wet ass hand on you? Maybe next time don't wear cashmere into the graveyard. Not only does the ghost wet her whistle a little bit, but he also tugs on her arm towards some wall somewhere.
Let go of me!
Fiona just opened her mouth so wide that she absorbed all the visible light in front of her and gave herself x-ray vision. That's what I think I saw happen here. I don't think I've ever heard of any kind of ghost experience resulting in me being able to see through a wall into an abandoned room. But I guess that's what this ghost is doing, and it's like, what? Okay. Of course, this level of paranormal activity gets Fiona really riled up, to the point where she starts speaking some interdimensional language.
Are you okay?
It was here. He pulled me up. Oh my gosh, look at the magnetometer. It's going nuts.
Oh, let's go ahead and order a CT scan for this one. That felt a little strokey to me. There's all sorts of interesting stuff going on with her vocal performance throughout the scene.
Disturbances in magnetic fields often accompany hauntings.
Oh no, now the ghost is playing around with the volume knob of your voice. Ghosts are always scary when we have electric magnets. Like, is that your scared voice? Or are they just depriving you of water to give you that veiny look? Jack is getting just about fed up with all of this talk of ghosts, and he starts to go wide with it.
Yeah. Check, please.
We're not leaving until we find out why this 85-year-old kid is picking on me.
I hate this. I hate that you keep doing this. People die, and that's it. You never come back. You're gone forever.
Oops, I think you got a little bit of your dead dad on my lighthearted ghost story. Could you just back off with that? I love how they give us this little bit of emotional tremolo here. I think it's really good writing. Right as we're like hitting the fever pitch of the ghost hunt, we get a little bit more of Jack's feelings on how he's dealing with the loss of his dad. And it kind of informs, like, basically, he took his mourning and it turned into skepticism towards all things supernatural. Whereas for Fee, she took her mourning and it became this like hope and this yearning for all of that unknown afterlife stuff. That dynamic definitely plays out throughout the whole series, if I recall, so I think it was cool how they established it here. It definitely feels consistent, yet you see by the end of this that there's gonna be some growth to it as well. But this almost argument is interrupted by some more ghostly happenings.
Jack, watch out! I can't move it. Feel me out.
Is this box full of cement cubes? How did it just slide across the floor for no reason and now it's immovable? That in itself is proof that ghosts exist. That's what Fiona sounds like with her spectral magnetometer or whatever. She's like, you know what? I think ghosts do exist because there has to be someone in this multiverse that likes me. You guys, I don't want to freak you out, but some scary stuff starts happening. We got a big budget set piece. We got hydraulic movement. You better hold on, strap yourself in, get a hard hat on, and be ready.
What do you want me to find? Please! Captain, like the boat!
As Fiona helpfully calls out, the room is capsizing like the boat. Clue somehow gets covered under like the smallest objects, and that just takes him out of the scene for the rest of this. I don't know if they understand what being under a blanket feels like, but it's not the same as a soundproof chamber. But also, who knows, maybe this next part is all happening in Fee's mind. I was really scared of this when I first saw it. I remember being like, no. Seeing a little boy drowning was not on my birthday wish list for 1999. Maybe you misread Power Rangers. I also feel like, hey, Dad, maybe just like do this kind of thing and get over to me a little bit. You're real close to my hands. But what do I know? I've never been on a sinking ship because I'm not an idiot who drowns in the 1800s, okay? After this encounter, Fee is left with a jacket that identifies that little boy's ghost.
Oh man.
Don't act like that was water you were just underneath. Like, you could breathe. Another reason I feel like this show was a good balance between the scary stuff and the kids stuff was they would always serve you like a laugh to give you some comedic relief when things got too tense.
Rat! Ghost! Floorboards!
Hi, Mom. Have a good show. Okay?
All I'm seeing is evidence that it's not a good idea to bring your kids on tour with you. Like, why are they doing this? They didn't have any family friends or like relatives who weren't traveling the country. Now we get a nice little wrap up to give everything a solid resolution.
Found this couple, and here was their son, but no one knew. The river probably pulled his jacket off.
Yep, pulled his jacket right off his dead, waterlogged, bloated corpse, and now you're holding it in your hands. Also, if his jacket got ripped off in the capsizing of that boat, how did it then end up in the attic of the club across the street that was built after the sinking? Still having a hard time making that connection there, but sure.
So, Mom was asking me the other day how I thought you were doing. But if she asked me again, I tell her you were doing okay.
Yes. Somehow, since your ghost hallucinations led to the discovery of a jacket, you don't have to go to therapy anymore. Dead dad solved.
Listen, about my laptop.
Please, don't ruin the moment.
Yeah, are we not even gonna try to explain that? Is the mom like, so did you dunk your computer in a fish tank and smash it against the wall for some reason? I feel like they're just glossing over some potential behavioral problems they might want to look into here. But no need, because this is just the first episode. We have lots of times to dig into the psyche of Fiona. For now, let's just say goodbye to these ghouls in the graveyard. Aw, that horribly racist family is finally in hell. What do you guys think of So Weird episode 1 of season 1? This show brought back a lot of memories for me, and I can see how it was definitely a starter kit for getting into horror and supernatural stuff. I'll probably have time for maybe one more Halloween movie during the actual month of October, but you know we're gonna keep doing horror movies and movies of all sorts all year round. So make sure you let me know what we should cover next in the comments below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this. Check out my merch in the description below, but most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down there. That way you never miss new videos from me. Again, I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to get spooked by them. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for drowning in a capsized boat with me today. I will see you next time.